Welcome to this video. Today in this video, we will introduce an exciting and interesting branch of mathematics, that is probability. In a few days, the result of the exam is going to come. Yes, I'm scared. There is a possibility that you will score the highest marks in the whole school this year.
Both Chennai Super Kings and Mumbai Indian teams have reached the final of IPL. Who do you think will win this time? Looking at the records of both the teams, I think that Chennai Super Kings will probably win this time. A new film will be released next week. What do you think? How will it be? Watching the trailer of the film, I doubt whether the film will be able to run for even 2 days or not.
Words like possibility, probably, or doubt used in all these situations indicate the certainty or uncertainty of a task. As in the first situation, Meenu believes Sita is likely to score the highest marks, but Sita does not believe in herself, which means that it may or may not happen. This prediction of Sita's highest score by Meenu will be based on the marks obtained by Sita in previous examinations. Sita must have scored good marks earlier, so this time too Meenu expects the same from Sita. In the other two situations too, such predictions have been made based on past experiences. These predictions and possibilities are measured numerically with the help of probability. Smartphone is a common device nowadays. Can you tell how your smartphone shows a suggestion list of possible words to come forward after you type anything? In our smartphone, about 5 lakh words of English dictionary are stored in its database. It calculates the score of words that we use most often. From the word that scores the most, we know that the chances of using that word are the highest. Based on which words are suggested by the smartphone. Suppose you want to wish a friend a very happy birthday, for which you send him a wish by typing happy birthday. Whenever you write happy, the next word suggested by the smartphone can be to, birthday and new. The word with the highest score is always in the middle. The smartphone suggests a word by calculating the chances or probability of using it based on its score. From this, we can say that the probability is to express the chances of an event happening in numerical form, which we will understand well in the coming videos. The possibility or doubt of the occurrence or absence of an action or event is the probability. The words possibility, doubt, probably, etc. always indicate probability. Today in this video, we learned about probability. See you in the next video. Welcome to this video. In the previous video, we learned about probability. Today we will study probability in detail. In the previous video, we saw an example where both Chennai Super Kings and Mumbai Indians teams are going to play the final match of IPL. According to Raju, the team Chennai Super Kings are more likely to win. There are two possibilities at the completion of the match. First, Chennai Super Kings will win. Second, Chennai Super Kings will lose. We call these possibilities the outcome. Here, the possibility of a cricket match or playing a cricket match is called experiment or trial. Playing a cricket match is an activity that can have more than one result. Therefore, we can say that the outcome is the possible result of an experiment. For example, here winning or losing of Chennai Super Kings will be the two outcomes of the match. If we collect all the outcomes of an experiment, then it becomes a set. In probability, a group of all possible outcomes of an experiment is called sample space. In the previous video, we discussed another situation, which discussed the possibilities of success of a film releasing next week. Can you tell what would be the sample space for this situation? Here the release of the film is an activity, so it will be called a trial. There may be two possibilities upon the release of the film. First, the film will be a hit. Second, the film will be a flop. These will be the two outcomes. So here, the sample space will be set S. In the previous video, we had seen more chances of the film not working at the time of its release, which is an element of sample space. Here, the film being a flop is an event. Hence, we can say that every element of sample space is an event. Let's see another example. You must have played Ludo at some time. In the game of Ludo, we roll a dice. If it is said that rolling a dice is an experiment, can you tell the outcome and sample space for it? You can pause the video and try. For an experiment of rolling a dice, this will be the outcome, and set S will be the sample space. If we want to find the probability of an odd number appearing when the dice is thrown, then the appearance of an odd number when the dice is thrown is an event, for which 1, 3 and 5 will be desired or favorable outcomes. Today in this video, we learned about some elements of probability. In the next video, we will learn to calculate the probability of an event in numerical form.
Welcome to this video. In the previous video, we learned about some elements of probability. Today, we will learn to calculate the probability of an event in numerical form. Ram and Sohan participated in a race competition in which these are the only two players. Can you tell what is the probability of Sohan winning in this race competition? We can easily say 50%. But if I tell you that 50 matches already have been held between Ram and Sohan, in which Ram has won 37 times and Sohan 13 times, will you still say that Sohan has a 50% chance of winning? No. Basically, there are two types of probability: experimental or empirical and theoretical, based on which there can be two different answers for the same event. Let's see an example to understand it better. Suppose a kabaddi match is going to happen between Team A and Team B. At the beginning of the game, we do not know anything about the past performance of both teams. In such a situation, if we have to predict which team will win, then we can say that both have a 50-50% chance of winning. We call this the theoretical probability. Now, if we assume that both the teams have already played 20 matches, out of which Team A won 12 matches, in such a situation, we will select Team A in the prediction of the winning team, where the prediction or probability of an event is calculated based on the data is called experimental probability, which we represent by P. The experiment probability is the ratio of the number of trials in which the event has occurred and the total number of trials. Let's understand it by another example. In the game of Ludo, we throw the dice for which the outcome and sample space are this. Suppose that the dice was thrown 400 times until the Ludo game is over, and it was seen that numbers from 1 to 6 came so many times. So can you tell me now, what is the probability of number 1 coming after throwing the dice? The trial here is to throw the dice. Since the dice were thrown a total of 400 times, the total number of trials would be 400. The desired event, number 1, is to come. In our experiment, the number 1 got 96 times when the dice are thrown 400 times. Therefore, the number of trials in which the event has occurred will be 96. Now, we will solve by substituting all the values in the formula of the experimental probability. So, the probability of the number 1 coming is 0.24. Today in this video, we learned to find the type of probability and the experimental probability for an event. In the next video, we will study the theoretical probability for an event. Welcome to this video. In the previous video, we understood the experimental probability. Today, we will understand the theoretical view of probability. Joseph is going to his friend Webber's house. The road on which he is walking further gets divided into 2 roads. Joseph starts looking for a signboard in order to find the right direction. Joseph's walk on the road is a trial. Now, can you tell the outcome of this trial? We can say that both the roads in front of Joseph are outcomes for this event. Let's represent the road on the left as X and the road on the right as Y. As Joseph is not able to find any signboard on the road, we can say that the possibility of either road being the right one is 50%. Why did we make such a prediction? Because we don't know yet as to which of these 2 roads is the right one. Therefore, we cannot be biased towards any of the 2 roads, and hence, the possibility of either road being the right one has been assumed to be 50%. You can see that like every time, we are saying possibility. And when we are talking about the possibility, then we have to understand that we are talking about probability, which we represent by P. We can see that here we have no previous data to choose the right path, due to which the experimental probability cannot be used here. In such situations, we take the help of theoretical probability, which is also known as theoretical or classical probability. We use this formula to find the value in numerical form. In this position of Joseph, we have a total of 2 outcomes. If Joseph chooses road X, then the number of favorable outcomes will be 1. Similarly, choosing road Y will have the same number of favorable outcomes, that is 1. From this formula of theoretical probability, the probability of choosing both roads is 1 upon 2. Here, the probability or possibility for both roads is the same. So we call them equally likely outcomes. If we had 3 roads here instead of 2, can you tell us the probability for them? When there are 3 roads, the total number of possible outcomes becomes 3. And as before, the number of favorable results for each road will be 1. Therefore, the probability of each being correct for the 3 roads will be 1/3. Because this time also, the probability is the same for all the 3 roads. So we can also call them the equally likely outcome. Can you think of a situation in which the result is not equally likely? No? Never mind. Let's think together. Suppose Joseph has 7 balls in this bag, including 4 red, 2 blue, and 1 black ball. If Joseph had to put out a ball without looking inside the bag, can you tell us what the results will be? Will the results be equally likely for all 3 balls? Due to a large number of red balls, it is most likely to come out. Similarly, the probability of the blue ball coming out is less than the red ball and more than the black ball. And the black ball will be the least likely. You can see that the probability of the 3 balls coming out here is different. Therefore, the results will not be equally likely. Let's understand one more important thing. If we add the probabilities to the condition of the 2 paths, we get 1. Similarly, you can see that in the case of 3 paths and balls, 1 gets 1 by adding the probability. Therefore, we can say that by adding all probabilities of an event, always we get 1. But how is this possible? Let's see. If we have only 1 road, then we have no other choice. Therefore, the probability of walking on that path is 100%, or you can say that the probability is 1. So we can say that this event is a sure event. After moving ahead, the road is divided into more than 1 road. And then, probability also gets divided accordingly. Therefore, adding these divisible probabilities always gives 1. Let's come back to our first position. Joseph was just choosing the right path. Until then, a friend of his, Mohsin, comes there, who tells him that road Y is the right way. In such a situation, the probability for road X changes to 0, and that of road Y becomes 100%. Because now we know which is the right path. So walking on road Y is a sure event. Therefore, the event which is sure to happen is called the sure event. It has 1 probability. Conversely, the probability of an event that is impossible to happen is always 0. Such an event is called an impossible event. For example, after finding the right path here, Joseph will not go on the road X. So it is an impossible event. Based on this, we can say that the maximum limit of probability of an event will be 1 and the minimum limit will be 0. Now that Joseph knows he has to go to road Y, it means that he will no longer go to road X. In such a situation, walking on road Y and walking on road X will be a complementary event, which we show with E bar. Can you tell me how you can find the probability of a complementary event? We know that the total probability is 1, from which if we subtract the probability of the event occurring or happening, then we get the probability of the complementary event. If we again look at the situation where the probability of choosing road X is 1 upon 2, then we can find the probability of choosing road Y, which is shown as follows. Hopefully now you have got a good understanding of probability. Today we looked at probability from a theoretical point of view for an event. To find the theoretical probability, equally likely result, sure event, impossible event, complementary event, limit of probability, and the sum of probabilities.
Welcome to this video. In the previous video, we learned about theoretical approaches to probability. Today in this video, we will study probability with the help of coins. So let's understand this with the help of an example. Both Naman and Sachin want to play video games, but the problem before them is who should play the game first. They decide to make this decision by tossing a coin, and decided that Naman will start the game if the outcome is head and Sachin will start the game if the outcome is tail. But Sachin wants to know if doing so is a fair decision. So let's first look at the outcomes when the coin is tossed. As you can see, when the coin is tossed, it gives only two possible results, which will be either the head or the tail. But now the question is, what is the probability of getting the tail? Let's see. As we know that tossing a coin gives two possible results, out of which there is only one possibility of tail. As the probability of event, which is denoted by E, is equal to the numbers of favorable outcomes of the event upon the numbers of all possible outcomes. Therefore, we can say that the probability of getting a tail will be 1 by 2. So, can you now find the probability of getting a head? Yes. According to the above statement, the probability of head will also be 1 by 2, since the total number of results is 2 and the possibility of head is only 1. Sachin and Naman were discussing that. Meanwhile, their friend Monu comes. He too wanted to play video games, due to which the same problem arises between them. Who will start the game first? We have seen that only two results are obtained from a coin. So this time they think of making decisions by tossing two coins. Monu says that if exactly one tail comes, he will start the game. Sachin says that if two tails come, then he will start. While Naman says if two heads come, then he will play first. Then, can you tell who will start the game first? Here, you can see that some possible results are obtained when both coins are tossed together. Let's first write down all possible outcomes. Head on first coin, head on second coin. Head on first coin, tail on second coin. Tail on first coin, head on second coin. Tail on first coin, tail on second coin. Therefore, we can say that a total of 4 outcomes are obtained by tossing 2 coins. Where, using the formula of probability, we can say that the probability of 2 heads coming together is 1 by 4. And the probability of 2 tails coming together is also 1 by 4. While the probability of exactly one tail appearing is 2 by 4. Which is the highest among these 3? So from the results obtained, we can say that Monu might get to play first. But Naman is not happy with this and asks to take the decision by tossing 3 coins instead of 2 coins, which we will see in the next video. In this video, we discussed the probability obtained by tossing 1 coin and 2 coins. In the next video, we will find the probability obtained by tossing 3 coins. Welcome to this video. In our previous video, we discussed an example based on probability derived from 1 coin and 2 coins. Today, we will study probability with the help of 3 coins. As we saw in our previous video that Monu wanted to start playing video games after getting the probability of 2 coins, but Naman was not happy with this and asked to consider tossing 3 coins. Let us see what happened. Naman says that on tossing 3 coins, if the outcome is exactly 2 heads and 1 tail, he will start the game. While Monu says that he will play when exactly 3 heads come together. And Sachin says that he will play when exactly 3 tails come together. So, in this case, can you find out the maximum favorable probability of the event as to who can start the game? Here, you can see that some results are obtained by tossing all 3 coins together. So let's write all these outcomes first. Head on first coin, head on second coin, head on third coin. Head on first coin, head on second coin, tail on third coin. Head on first coin, tail on second coin, head on third coin. Head on first coin, tail on second coin, tail on third coin. Tail on first coin, head on second coin, head on third coin. Tail on first coin, head on second coin, tail on third coin. Tail on first coin, tail on second coin, head on third coin. Tail on first coin, tail on second coin, tail on third coin. Let us obtain the maximum possibility from the results obtained. In the probability formula, replace the value of the number of favorable outcomes of the event and the number of possible outcomes. Here, the 3 outcomes with exactly 2 heads and 1 tail are head, head, tail, head, tail, head, and tail, head, head. The probability of which is 3 by 8. While the total number of outcomes of 3 heads coming together is only 1, its probability will be 1 by 8. And similarly, the number of outcomes of 3 tails coming together is only 1, where the probability will be 1 by 8. according to which we can say that the maximum probability here will be of exactly 2 heads and 1 tail, according to which Naman has maximum chances of starting the game. Let us try to understand probability using another example. If 3 coins are tossed together, can you find the probability of obtaining at most 2 tails? As we know that when 3 coins are tossed together, the following results are obtained. Where we have to find 0 tail, 1 tail and 2 tails to get at most 2 tails. From the results obtained, we can observe that there are a total of 7 outcomes to obtain at most 2 tails favorable to the event. Substituting the value according to the above results in the probability formula, the probability of obtaining at most 2 tails is 7 by 8. But did you see some correlation between the number of coins and the number of total results in these examples? Yes, we saw that there are 2 outcomes for 1 coin, 4 outcomes for 2 coins and 8 outcomes for 3 coins. So can you tell how many outcomes will be there for 4 coins? Looking at the above patterns, we can say that the number of results obtained is in the form of 2 to the power of n, where n is the total number of coins. With the help of which we can tell that 4 coins will have a total of 16 results. You can also use it to know the results of tossing more coins. So hopefully you have understood the probability of obtaining the outcomes related to the coins. Hopefully you will experiment with more coins to find the probability in such an interesting way. Welcome to this video. In the previous video, we studied probability with numbers. Today we will study probability related to dice. All of you recognize die, which are used in the game of Ludo. Look here, Arjun needs 5 to win one of his tokens. So can you tell the probability of getting 5 on the die? Let's now discuss this question. Can you tell how many possible outcomes can we get while throwing a die? Absolutely right. On throwing a die, the outcome can be any number between 1 to 6. So the total number of possible outcomes will be 6. Since we have to find the probability of getting 5, the number of favorable outcomes will be 1. Let us find the probability of getting 5 by the probability formula with the help of the outcome obtained, which is 1 by 6 or 0.167. Can you now tell me what would be the complement event for this? And what will be the probability of this complement event? Here, the complement event means not getting 5 when the dice is thrown. Hope you remember that we can find the probability of a complement event using this formula, by which the probability of not getting 5 and getting the numbers 1, 2, 3, 4 or 6 is 5 by 6. Now if you are asked the probability of getting a 0, what will you say? Pause the video and try it yourself. You can see that there is no 0 on any of the faces of the dice. So getting a 0 on the dice is an impossible event. And we know that the probability of an impossible event is always 0. Hence, the probability of getting a 0 in this situation will also be 0. Today in this video, we understood the probability while rolling a die. In the next video, we will understand the probability while rolling 2 dice. Welcome to this video. In the previous video, we studied probability while rolling a die. Today we will study probability while rolling 2 dice. This Ludo game with 2 dice has some rules. The first rule is that the player will start the game only when both dice have the same digits. The second rule is that the player can move his token only if both dice have an even number or odd number and will move that many places as the sum of those two numbers. Can you now tell what is the probability of getting the same number on rolling both dice? Let's discuss this. Here we observe rolling 2 dice together gives a total of 36 different outcomes, which are indicated in this table. But many times students believe that if rolling 1 die gives 6 outcomes, similarly rolling 2 dice together will give 12 outcomes. And if you are thinking the same, then it is a wrong understanding. Because rolling 2 dice together gives the total number of possible outcomes as 36. Here, we have to find the probability of getting the same number. We can see that there are 6 different outcomes having the same digit on both dice. That is, the total number of favorable outcomes will be 6. Now let's find the probability of getting the same number using the probability formula, which is 6 by 36 or 0.167. Can you tell the probability of getting an even or an odd number on both dice to move the token forward? We saw that rolling both dice together gives 36 possible outcomes. From those, there are a total 9 outcomes having even numbers on both dice. Therefore, the number of favorable outcomes will be 9. So, the probability of getting even numbers on both dice using the probability formula is 9 by 36 or 0.25. Similarly, if we find the probability of getting an odd number on both dice, then it also gives us 9 by 36 or 0.25. Today we understood the probability while rolling 2 dice. In the next video, we will see interesting examples based on probability. Welcome to this video. In the previous video, we studied probability on rolling 2 dice. Today we will see interesting examples based on probability on rolling 2 dice. If a green and blue die are rolled together, then what is the probability that the sum of the numbers on both the dice is a multiple of 3? And the difference between the numbers on the 2 dice is at least 4 or more? Let's see. We know that rolling 2 dice yield a total of 36 outcomes, where the first number of each ordered pair is the blue die number and the second number is the green die number. Since we have to find the probability of getting sum of the numbers on both the dice equal to the multiple of 3, we select those ordered pairs whose sum of numbers is a multiple of 3. Note that maximum 12 is taken here because rolling 2 dice gives the maximum sum of 12, which is a multiple of 3. From the table, we get 12 such results corresponding to event E1. Hence, by the probability formula, the probability of getting a multiple of 3 is 1 by 3 or 0.33. Can you find the probability that the difference between the numbers on both dice is at least 4 or more? Let's look at the outcomes obtained from both dice. Here, there are 6 total outcomes favorable to the event E2, where the difference between the two dice is at least 4 or more. By substituting the value of favorable outcomes of the event and the value of all possible outcomes in the probability formula, we get 1 by 6 or 0.167. Hence, we can say that the probability of the difference between the numbers appearing on the dice being 4 or more than 4 is 0.167. Today we saw an example of probability on rolling 2 dice. So hopefully you must have understood probability with the help of dice. Welcome to this video. In the previous video, we studied probability based on dice. Today we will study probability based on deck of cards. You must have seen someone playing cards around you, or you would have played this game yourself. So let's discuss the deck of cards. There are a total 52 cards in a deck, which are divided into 4 suits, that is, each suit has 13 cards. Each suit has its own identity. The first set consists of spades, the second set is of clubs, the third set is hearts, and the fourth set is diamonds. Therefore, it can be said that there are 26 cards of black and red color each. Let's discuss the group of heart cards. The set consists of ace, king, queen, jack, and 2 to 10 digit cards. Where the cards with jack, queen and kings are called face cards. Similarly, we can see that there are 3 such face cards in each group. That is, 12 cards out of the total 52 cards are face cards. Let's see an example. If you are told that one card is drawn from a deck of well-shuffled 52 cards, so what is the probability that the card drawn is a jack of black color? Let's discuss this. We know that there are 52 cards in a deck of cards. In other words, the total number of all possible outcomes will be 52. The total number of jack cards in these 52 cards is 4. Where 2 jacks are of black color and 2 jacks are of red color. Since we have to find the probability of getting a jack of black color, so we can say that the number of favorable outcomes of the event will be 2. Hence, by substituting the values of all possible outcomes and favorable outcomes in the probability formula, we get 1 by 26 or 0.038. Therefore, we can say that the probability of getting a jack of black color is 1 by 26 or 0.038. Today we understood probability based on a deck of cards. In the next video, we will see an interesting example based on a deck of cards. Welcome to this video. In the previous video, we studied probability with the help of cards. Today we will see interesting examples based on this. If a king, queen and jack of diamonds are removed from the deck of 52 cards and the remaining cards are shuffled well, if one card is drawn from the pack, then what is the probability that the card drawn will be a diamond? Let's discuss this. From the given information, if the three cards of king, queen and jack of diamonds are removed, then the number of cards left in the deck of cards is 49. Since we have to find the probability of getting a card of diamonds, we know that by removing 3 diamond cards, the number of remaining diamond cards in the deck of cards is 10. Or, in other words, the number of favorable outcomes of the event will be 10. By substituting the values of favorable outcomes and all possible outcomes in the probability formula, we get the result of probability as 10 by 49 or 0.204. So we can say that the probability of getting a diamond card is 0.204. Let's discuss another example. After removing the non-face cards from a deck of 52 cards, if a card is drawn from the remaining well-shuffled deck of cards, what is the probability that the card drawn will be a king? Let's see. According to the given information, to know this, it is important to know the number of face cards after removing all the non-face cards. Yes, the number of face cards and non-face cards are 12 and 40 respectively. That is, we can say that there are a total of 12 ways to draw a card from the face card, which shows the number of all possible outcomes. And in these face cards, there are 4 king cards. This denotes the favorable outcome of the event, because we have to find the probability of getting a king card. Therefore, by substituting the values of the above outcomes in the probability formula, the probability of getting a king card from the face cards is 4 by 12 or 0.33. Today we understood examples of probability based on cards. In the next video, we will see another interesting example based on this. Welcome to this video. In the previous video, we understood examples of probability based on cards. Today we will see another interesting example based on cards. All the cards with 5, 6 and 7 digits are removed from all 4 suits of cards. So can you find the probability of getting cards which have numbers more than 11, number less than 11 and number 11? Where ace is given the value of 1, jack is 11, queen is 12, king is 13, and other cards are also named in a similar manner. Let us discuss this. According to the information given, we have 2 decks of cards totaling 104 cards. If all the cards having 5, 6 or 7 are removed from these cards, then what will be the total number of remaining cards? Absolutely right. The number of remaining cards will be 80. So let's first discuss event of getting cards with a value more than 11. According to the question, cards whose value is more than 11 are only Queen and King, whose values are 12 and 13 respectively. So can you tell me how many Queens and Kings are there among these cards? Right answer. From the remaining cards left, we can tell that we have a total of 16 cards of Queen and King. That is, with the help of probability formula, we can say that the number of outcomes favorable to the event is 16 and the number of all possible outcomes is 80. On solving this, the probability of getting cards whose value is more than 11 is 0.2. Similarly, if we discuss another event, you can see that the number of cards with values less than 11, that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 8, 9 and 10 are 56. Therefore, we can tell from the probability formula that the probability of getting cards whose value is less than 11 is 0.7. So, can you tell without counting the deck of cards what will be the probability of getting a card with 11? We know that the sum of the probabilities of all the elementary events of an experiment is 1. Therefore, with the help of this, we can tell that the probability of getting cards with value 11 is 0.1. Today we understood examples of probability based on cards. Hopefully, you have understood probability based on cards. Welcome to this video. In our previous video, we understood the principle of probability by the interesting game of coins. Today in this video, we will study the probability based on numbers. Sushant and Ayush participate in a lottery competition. There is a box containing slips with numbers written on them from 1 to 20. If Sushant picks up any one slip out of those 20 slips, then what will be the probability of getting a multiple of 3? Similarly, if any slip out of 20 slips is picked up by Ayush, find the probability of getting a prime number. Let us now discuss both these events. We know that every slip has a number from 1 to 20. That is, the number of possible outcomes of the experiment will be 20. Now the question is, when Sushant chooses a slip from these 1 to 20 number slips, then which numbers will be considered favorable outcome, that is, a multiple of 3? Between 1 and 20, the numbers 3, 6, 9, 12, 15 and 18 are multiples of 3. A total of 6 numbers, whose probability we have to find. Using the probability formula, the number of favorable outcomes of the event is 6 and the number of all possible outcomes is 20. On solving this, the probability of getting a multiple of 3 is 0.3. Let us now discuss the second part of the question, where Ayush chooses a slip of prime number. Do you remember the prime numbers? Numbers that are completely divisible by 1 and itself. and not divisible by any other natural number are called prime numbers, such as 2, 3, 5, 7, etc. Now, can you find the outcome favorable to the event from these 20 numbers? As you can see here, the prime numbers between 1 and 20 are 2, 3, 5, 7, 11, 13, 17 and 19. So we can say that the total number of favorable outcomes are 8. Using the probability formula, the number of favorable outcomes of the event is 8 and the number of all possible outcomes is 20. On solving this, the probability of getting a prime number is 0.4. Therefore, from the outcomes obtained, we conclude that the highest probability of victory comes from the slip picked by Ayush. So today in this video, we understood the probability of some events related to numbers. In the next video, we will see an interesting example based on this. Welcome to this video. In our previous video, we discussed the probability of some events related to numbers. Today we will see another interesting example based on this. Jeetu picks up a ticket from a box. Jeetu has tickets marked 1 to 101. Find the probability that the digit on the picked ticket is a perfect square number and is divisible by 7. Let's see. Given that there are a total of 101 tickets in the box, there are a total of 101 outcomes. So the number of total possible outcomes is 101. We have to find the probability of getting a perfect square number on the ticket. Between the given numbers 1 to 101, there are a total of 10 perfect square numbers, that is 1, 4, 9, 16, 25, 36, 49, 64, 81 and 100, which are perfect squares. That is, the number of results favorable to the event is 10. Let's substitute the values of the total possible outcomes and the number of results favorable to the event in the probability formula. On solving, we get 0.099. Therefore, we can say that the probability of having a perfect square number is 0.099. Now, can you tell the probability of getting a number on the ticket which is divisible by 7? Correct answer. There are a total of 14 numbers in the given numbers which are divisible by 7. That is, the number of results favorable to the event are 14. Substituting the values of the total possible outcome and the outcome favorable to the event in the probability formula. And by solving, the probability of getting the number divisible by 7 is 0.138. Today in this video, we saw an example of probability based on numbers. In the next video, we will see some common mistakes while solving these types of questions. Welcome to this video. In our previous video, we saw an example of probability based on numbers. Today in this video, we will see an example based on probability and discuss misconceptions related to it. Vivek has a bag containing only red and blue marbles. If the number of red and blue marbles is 12 and 18 respectively, can you find the probability of taking out a red marble? Pause the video to solve the question and then match your answer. It is given that the numbers of red and blue marbles are 12 and 18 respectively, whose sum will be equal to the total outcomes. We can say that the total number of possible outcomes will be 30. As we have studied the formula for finding the probability, where the number of favorable outcomes of the event E, that is red marbles, is 12. So from the formula, the number of favorable outcomes is equal to 12 and the number of all possible outcomes of the experiment is 30. On solving this, we get the probability of picking a red marble as 2 by 5. So, we can say that the probability of getting a red marble is 2 by 5. Let us discuss a misconception. A teacher asks this question in class. If the probability of occurrence of an event is 0.3, then what will be the probability of non-occurrence of that event? Sonika and Charu select options 1 and 2 respectively. Minus 0.3, 0.7. Can you tell whose answer is correct and why? According to Sonika, the probability of an event not occurring is the opposite of the probability of it occurring. So she considers minus 0.3 as opposite to 0.3. This is the wrong answer. Because the probability is always between 0 to 1, that is, it can neither be negative nor be greater than 1. Let us now observe how Charu solved this question. According to Charu, the sum of the probabilities of occurrence and non-occurrence of an event is 1. In this question, we are given the probability of occurrence of an event 0.3. Therefore, the probability of the event not occurring is 0.7. Charu's answer is correct. In this video, we saw misconceptions associated with probability.